There is a moment right before everything changes. You are together, breathless, close enough to hear each other's heartbeat. There is a single heartbeat of time just before your connection becomes complete, and in that tiny space, the whole world seems to pause. If you truly understand that moment, it can stay with a man far longer than you imagine, not only because of physical attraction, but because of the emotions wrapped around it, not only for one evening, but in the memories he quietly carries for years. Real intimacy has never been only about what happens next. It begins in the quiet build-up. It grows through presence, through eye contact that says more than words ever could, through confidence that asks for nothing yet reveals everything. It is about allowing yourself to be seen without pretending to be someone else. Many people believe the biggest myth. They think men only remember excitement or constant novelty. They believe being unforgettable means performing perfectly or trying harder than everyone else, but that is rarely what leaves the deepest impression. What truly reaches a man's heart is something much quieter. It is the pause before the emotion rises, the look that lingers a second longer, the smile that feels genuine, the breath that slows everything down, the silent understanding between two people when nothing needs to be explained. That is the kind of memory that refuses to disappear. And before we go further, stay with me, because what comes next may completely change the way you think about emotional connection forever. Realize that when you stop trying to impress and start simply inviting someone into the moment, everything begins to change. When your presence quietly says, "I trust you," while your confidence says, "I still choose my own desire," that is what makes you unforgettable. Not because you offered your body, but because you shared a moment that felt rare, a pause that made him feel truly chosen, a quiet whisper that stayed with him long after the night had ended. So if you want to create a moment that fills a man with anticipation, a moment he will remember for years, here are a few powerful ideas that can transform those final seconds before your connection becomes complete into a memory that never really leaves him. Stay with me because the next point may surprise you. There is something timeless, deeply human, and incredibly powerful about genuine eye contact, especially during those final, quiet moments before intimacy, when you are already close, when your breathing has slowed. When everything around you seems to fade away, that is when your eyes become your strongest form of communication. Looking into each other's eyes is never just about attraction. It is not about putting on a performance or creating drama. It is about connection. It is a silent message that says, "I am here with you. I am present. I am open. I am real." And when you hold that gaze without rushing away, without breaking the moment with nervous laughter, you completely change the feeling between you. Most people rush through these moments. They look away. They close their eyes too soon. They move past the emotion because they have never learned how powerful a simple pause can be. But when you remain present, when you keep that quiet connection alive, you tell him without speaking that he has your attention, your trust, and your willingness to truly share the experience. Keep watching because what happens next is where everything becomes unforgettable. In that steady gaze, you become more than someone standing in front of him. You become a memory that settles deep inside his heart. In those few quiet seconds, it is no longer just about physical closeness. It becomes two people seeing each other honestly, without pretending, without hiding, and without fear. You allow yourself to be fully present instead of distracted by expectations or self-conscious thoughts. That kind of emotional openness stays with a person. It does more than create excitement. It creates meaning. Through that simple look, you quietly say, "This matters to me. I am fully here, and I am not afraid to let you see who I really am." At the same time, your confidence sends another message. "I choose this moment because it feels right to me." That quiet certainty carries far more power than any perfect words ever could, and it is often the part that remains in someone's memory long after everything else begins to fade. This moment feels special. It speaks for itself without needing long conversations. A single look can communicate more than many sentences ever will. It reveals trust, quiet confidence, and the courage to be fully present all at once. It invites him to lower his guard. It encourages him to stay emotionally present. It awakens something deeper than simple attraction. You see, many men rarely experience that kind of connection. They may feel admired, they may feel wanted, they may enjoy physical closeness, but truly feeling seen is much more uncommon. That is why a steady, genuine gaze becomes so memorable. You are offering something beyond appearances. You are offering a real connection, and that kind of experience is difficult to explain, yet almost impossible to forget. So when that important moment arrives, don't rush through it. Slow everything down. Look at him. Really look at him. Let your expression become calm and warm. Let your eyes rest there for another second. Allow the silence to do its work. Feel the anticipation naturally grow instead of hurrying to the next step. Hold the moment just a little longer. That quiet pause often becomes the part he remembers most. Stay with me, because the next insight may completely change how you think about emotional attraction. Sometimes the smallest pause creates the strongest memory, and the simplest gesture becomes the one that echoes in someone's heart long after the night has passed. Words have incredible power, but their meaning depends on how they are shared. Right before emotions reach their highest point, when two people are close and every heartbeat feels louder than before, it is rarely about finding perfect lines. It is about speaking with sincerity. A few quiet words, spoken gently and with genuine feeling, can leave a lasting impression. The magic is not in saying more. The magic is in saying something real. A calm voice, a soft tone, a sentence that comes from the heart instead of from habit. Those moments stay with people because they feel honest, not rehearsed. Instead of trying to impress, you simply let your feelings be heard. That quiet honesty creates comfort, closeness, and emotional safety. It tells him that the moment matters, that you are fully present, and that your attention is real. Keep watching, because the next idea reveals why these simple, quiet moments often become the memories that last the longest. It feels like you are quietly letting him into a part of yourself that very few people ever get to see. Your voice carries warmth, calm, and intention, reaching him in a way that feels deeply personal. When a man hears words meant only for him, spoken only in that one moment, they stay with him. They land differently. They reach far beyond the surface. You do not need a rehearsed line or something dramatic to impress him. What matters most is that your words are honest and personal. It can be something as simple as, "I've never felt this close to anyone," or "Being with you feels so natural," or even, "I feel completely safe with you right now." The words never need to be complicated. They only need to be sincere. That is what creates a lasting memory. In that quiet moment, he is not simply listening. He feels valued. He feels trusted. He feels like he is sharing something that belongs only to the two of you. That is the difference. It is not about performing or trying to sound perfect. It is about emotional closeness. You are saying, without pretending, "This is the real me, and I am sharing this moment with you." That feeling of exclusivity creates a connection that reaches both the heart and the mind. Stay with me, because the next idea may be the one that changes everything. Your voice becomes more than sound. It becomes a bridge between emotion and presence. When it comes from a genuine place, every word carries weight. He remembers the calm in your voice, the honesty behind your words, and the feeling those few seconds created. Timing matters just as much as the message itself. Sometimes the smallest sentence, spoken at exactly the right moment, becomes the part he remembers years later. He may not repeat every word, but he will remember how those words made him feel, and that feeling is often what lasts the longest. You do not always need to say anything. Sometimes what stays with a man is not the words you speak, but the quiet moments you choose to leave untouched. That silence carries its own message. It tells him, "I could fill this space with words, but instead I want you to simply feel this moment with me." That choice, that patience, that calm presence creates a feeling that lingers far longer than conversation ever could. This is never about putting on a performance. It is about being fully present. It is about showing that your connection is not something to rush through, but something worth experiencing with intention. Every pause matters. Every breath adds to the anticipation. Every second becomes part of a memory that neither of you expected to create. In a world that moves so quickly, slowing down becomes something rare. That is why these quiet moments often become the ones people remember the most. Stay with me, because the next insight may completely change the way you think about closeness. Sometimes the gentlest action carries the greatest meaning. Instead of rushing forward, simply remain present. Let the silence speak. Let the anticipation build naturally. Those few extra seconds can transform an ordinary experience into one that feels deeply personal and impossible to forget. One of the most meaningful gestures during an emotional moment is simply holding someone's face with both hands, gently and with care, as though you are protecting something valuable. It is a small action, yet it changes the entire atmosphere. In an instant, the focus shifts from excitement alone to genuine connection. Without speaking, you communicate that the moment matters. Many people assume men stay emotionally distant during intimate moments, but that is not always true. Many quietly long for affection that feels sincere rather than performative. They appreciate gestures that say, "I see you, I value you, I am choosing to be fully present with you." That simple touch can create a feeling of comfort, trust, and emotional closeness that words cannot easily replace. It slows everything down. It brings both people back into the present instead of letting the moment rush by. And here is the part most people overlook. This gesture is not only for the other person. It is also for you. It reminds you to stay connected instead of distracted, to experience the moment instead of racing through it, to make a conscious choice to be emotionally present. When someone feels that quiet warmth, that gentle care, and that steady eye contact, they often remember it long after the details fade. It is not because the gesture was dramatic, it is because it felt real. That kind of authenticity leaves a lasting impression, and sometimes the simplest moments become the memories that stay with us the longest. Let the rest of the world disappear for a while. Do not rush to fill the silence. Simply stay with him. Stay present, stay grounded in the moment and in your own quiet confidence. Sometimes the strongest connection is created without saying anything at all. That calm presence carries more meaning than endless words ever could. It tells him that you are fully there, not distracted, not pretending, simply sharing the experience together. When your attention is genuine instead of hurried, the entire atmosphere changes. The moment becomes deeper, it becomes more personal. It becomes something that cannot easily be forgotten. Stay with me, because the next insight is where everything shifts. Sometimes what remains in someone's heart is not a dramatic gesture, but the feeling of being truly chosen. That quiet certainty leaves a lasting mark. It creates a memory that stays long after the details have faded. There is something deeply personal, almost timeless, about hearing your own name spoken by someone you care about. During an emotional moment, saying his name softly can become one of the most meaningful parts of the experience. Not in a rushed way, not as if you are simply trying to get his attention. Say it slowly. Let every syllable feel natural. Let it carry warmth and intention. In that brief second, his name becomes more than a word. It becomes a reminder that this moment belongs to both of you. It brings him fully into the present. It removes the feeling of performance and replaces it with genuine connection. It quietly says, "I see you. I am here with you." That kind of sincerity reaches far beyond appearances. Many people have shared moments of closeness, yet very few have experienced someone saying their name with calm affection and complete presence. That is why it feels different. That is why it stays in the memory. In a world where so many experiences feel rushed or distracted, hearing his name spoken with care creates something real. It tells him he matters, that he is valued, and that this moment is shared with intention. Keep watching, because the next idea may be the one that stays with you the longest. Sometimes the smallest words leave the deepest impression. He may not remember every detail of the evening, but he will remember the feeling those simple words created and the quiet emotion behind them. If you truly want to create a lasting memory, do not hurry through the important moments. Slow everything down. When emotions are high and anticipation naturally builds, allow yourself to pause. Not because of uncertainty, but because you understand the value of presence. Many people believe the most important part is always what happens next. Yet the moments people remember most are often the quiet seconds before everything changes. That pause creates space, it creates awareness. It invites both of you to fully experience what is happening instead of rushing ahead. When you slow the pace, you naturally bring more intention into the experience. The atmosphere becomes calmer. Every glance feels stronger. Every smile carries more meaning. Every heartbeat seems louder. Those few extra seconds create anticipation without needing anything dramatic. They remind both people that meaningful moments are worth savoring instead of racing through. The person who feels comfortable slowing down often shapes the entire experience without saying a single word. Confidence is rarely loud. It appears in patience. It appears in calmness. It appears in the willingness to let a meaningful moment unfold at its own pace. That quiet self-control leaves a deeper impression than excitement alone ever could, and it is often the reason someone remembers not only the moment itself, but the person who made it feel so genuine. Here is the truth. A man may have experienced intimacy many times, yet only a handful of those moments stay with him forever. Why? Because so many experiences are rushed. They follow the same pattern. They leave little room for real emotion. But when you slow down before the moment reaches its peak, when you look into his eyes, stay close, breathe together, and simply allow the silence to exist, everything changes. It catches him off guard in the best possible way. Suddenly, he feels more present, more aware, more connected than he expected. Without saying much, you communicate something powerful. You tell him this moment matters. You show him that you are choosing to be fully present instead of rushing ahead. That simple decision transforms what could have been ordinary into something deeply meaningful. It becomes more than attraction. It becomes a shared memory. He may not even understand why it affected him so much. He will simply remember the stillness, the calm, the pause that made everything feel different. So the next time you find yourself in a meaningful moment together, do not hurry. Take one slow breath. Look at him. Let your attention rest on him for another second. Allow the silence to become part of the experience instead of filling it immediately. Stay with me, because the next thought is where everything comes together. Sometimes the strongest emotions are created not by what happens next, but by the quiet seconds just before. Those moments become the memories that stay with us long after everything else fades away. Let's be honest for a moment. Physical attraction is everywhere. It appears on screens, in music, and in everyday conversations. Genuine emotional intimacy is much harder to find. That is what makes it valuable. When you learn to appreciate those quiet moments before everything unfolds, you become unforgettable for a completely different reason. It is never only about appearance. It is about presence. It is about the way you hold someone's attention without forcing anything. It is the warmth in your expression, the calm in your voice, the patience in your silence, the feeling that the moment is shared instead of rushed. Those are the details people carry with them. They remember how safe they felt, how understood they felt, how completely present you were. If there is one idea to take from this entire conversation, it is this: stop believing that creating a lasting impression means doing more. Often it means doing less with greater intention. Slow down, stay present. Allow meaningful moments to unfold naturally instead of chasing the next one. Confidence is found in patience. Connection grows through attention. The strongest memories are rarely loud. They are built in quiet seconds filled with honesty and care. If this perspective resonated with you, let me know which idea stood out the most. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy content about emotional intelligence, meaningful relationships, and building deeper connections, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next conversation. There is so much more to discover together.